If you're a CEO or leader and your strategy isn't calling in the results you actually want, it's because you're committing and you're committed to climbing up the wrong mountain. Here's how to choose again without fear and with confidence. Welcome to the CEO Weekly Energetic Briefing for July 30, 2026. So this is for the next week and what to expect. I'm Alexandra, and this information comes from my own intuition, my own client work, my own spirit team. So as usual, use your own discernment, take what works for you. So there's one key theme, and the key theme for today and for the next week is about looking at your own resistance, looking at where you're making things far harder than what they need to be. Okay, so when you're pushing a boulder up a hill, a lot of you are getting halfway up this hill and you're looking towards the top and you're saying, I've come this far and I've only got this much more to go. So let's keep on going to the top. But what you're not recognizing in that moment is that you're literally climbing the wrong mountain. So even when you get to the top, it's quite futile because this is not the mountain for you. This is not in your highest timeline. And so you get to the top of this mountain, and then from that vantage point, you can look across and you say to yourself, I'd much rather be on that mountain over there. I much rather have chosen that opportunity over there, not the one I'm currently on. And so even by making this mistake, it's not the end of the world because you then do have that contrast between where you are and where you want to be. But what I'm telling you today is that there's a far easier way. There's a far less effortful way, a way where you can be in flow and just choose the right mountain to climb right from the get-go. And so let's start with why this is even happening. Why are you choosing the wrong mountain to climb? And why are you choosing to climb it even though you, quote unquote, know better? So there were many warning signs at the beginning of this particular journey that you're on. So in hindsight, you get to the top of the mountain, you're like, oh, I know I should have done this. I knew better. This was the wrong move. I knew the right move to make and I didn't make it. So in hindsight, a lot of you are getting this and you're so smart. So you could have chosen again, but you didn't. So let's look at why you didn't. So you stop repeating this same mistake if possible. So things speed up for you. So when I tuned in, the message I received is you didn't because you're stubborn. And more accurately, your ego is very stubborn. And your ego is very tricky because it makes things look logical, even though it's the wrong move. So it wants you to go to where you're not going to get the outcomes you want. Because if you go where you're not going to get the outcomes you want, you and your company remain the same. Nothing changes. 97% of people hate change. I used to be in the change management space. So your ego really hates change. It really wants everything to stay exactly as it is. Its job is to protect you. So if you take the same route each day, it knows exactly what to look out for on your path. There's a car coming on this side of the street. There's a car coming over there. Don't forget to check this intersection before you go through to make sure no one's running a red light. That's your ego's job. And so it has an important job. We do want to keep our ego, but we want to learn how to navigate particularly business opportunities in this case while keeping the ego at bay and not dictating the moves you're making. And so the executive summary is you're not course correcting when you could have been because of fear, and specifically because of fear of the unknown. I'm already on this mountain, we may as well keep going, is less scary than choosing the correct mountain for you because that likely hasn't been done before. It's slightly more wild. It might not be what your competitors are doing. And if you're successful, it absolutely won't be what your competitors are doing. But here's the thing, the no isn't working for you anyway. So you may as well change the mountain you're climbing. And so how do you change this going forward? How do you make sure you are course correcting on this journey? So the first thing is you want to actually feel the resistance that you're experiencing somewhere in your body. That can look like your throat chakra closing. In reality, it can look like a lot of hard work, like you're not able to build momentum. It really is like pushing a boulder up a hill. It's like very small steps and it feels quite grueling. So that is resistance. Now, when you notice that you have resistance, what that means is you are not in flow. You are not floating down the river. You are trying to swim upstream. And when you're swimming upstream, you are working far harder than what you need to. So when you feel it, when you feel the resistance, turn the other way. Literally do a 180-degree turn and see what opportunities are available to you downstream. What have you missed because you were so focused on pushing that boulder up a hill? If you turn the other direction, what other doors are open to you that have been there the whole time? You've just not been paying attention. When you stop efforting, you actually have the spaciousness to turn around and to notice what doors are there for you. And in order for these new opportunities to come into your awareness, you do want to be regulated. So usually there's things that you have thrown out because you've been so busy pushing up this rock up the mountain. That can look like you've given up exercise. You might have been the type of person who exercised intentionally for 10 hours per week, and maybe you've cut that out entirely because you're so busy doing all of this busy work that's actually irrelevant because you're climbing the wrong mountain. So this is sometimes about getting back to basics so that first of all, you can actually notice the resistance and recognize that that's not normal. You're meant to be in flow. It's meant to feel far easier than what it is. You're meant to feel regulated and spacious on this journey. So put those things back into your life to allow this to come more into your awareness. So that's the key message for this week. And I want to give you a really tangible example about what I've seen in my client work. So one of my clients comes to mind. And when she came to me, she was selling a $200 product and it was quite effortful. So it was a lot of hard work and she was working and supporting people that she didn't really want to support any longer. So she was on one mountain when there was a far better, more aligned mountain over here that was actually in her highest timeline. Now, the good news is from this vantage point on the wrong mountain, she could get the sense that there was something more, something greater that she was meant to take a part in. And she had outgrown this particular opportunity over here. And that's what I mean. You can't get this wrong. It's just how much pain do you want to go through before you make the right call. Now, maybe this is you as well, but for her, the resistance that she was feeling wasn't so much about leaving this mountain for that mountain. It was more about who she had to become to choose this mountain, to choose this type of customer, to choose this type of product. Now, one of my favorite things to do is to remove the junk out of people, right? So to remove their blocks. So in terms of choosing this mountain, what blocks did she have that were preventing her from being a full body heck yes for going after this opportunity that was literally meant for her? So she had this block, which was a belief block, and it was, I'm a mistake. Now, your internal reality always dictates what is happening in your external reality because you are a co-creator here on earth. So if she believes I'm a mistake, then why would anyone want to work with her? Because it would be a mistake to do so. So that was the first big thing we had to clean up. We wanted to extract that junk, transmute it, install a belief that was far more helpful. And when we did that, a new offer dropped in almost instantaneously. And in this case, she went from selling a $200 product, which was like pushing a boulder up a hill, working with people who weren't quite her ideal clients, and it felt very effortful, to now selling a $50,000 product, which has just 3 days of implementation and working with customers that she actually loves. It's energy giving, not energy depleting. So as soon as we cleared out that junk, this new offer dropped in and she now had the ability to actually be able to hold that particular product and that type of customer. So if you know that you have junk that needs to be cleared because this is stopping you from choosing the right opportunity, then grab my free masterclass down below. It's called The Knowing, and it's going to help you spot your own resistance a mile away so that you can choose again.